So I'm Marie-France LeFort. I'm the facilitator for this session, and Sylvie Ross is our present presenter. Just very briefly, Sylvie Ross is the Executive Director of Partenaires en Éducation, a provincial organization for parents, representing parents in Ontario's French language school system. It's one of 4 provincial parent organizations. Sylvie is an active member of the Measuring What Matters Advisory Committee, helping People for Education with the French language component of that initiative that Annie touched upon this morning. She'll be talking to us about this very interesting initiative that they have led and supported over the last few years.
Well, yes. Okay, so usually the program I'm working with people, when people come in, we do an introduction, so it's easy after that to, we feel like we know each other, even if we don't know that much. And I won't remember any of your names probably, but I would know there's some PIC, the student, and there are OPE, OPC, I don't remember all the acronym, and we're all here to learn something. I will start a bit with what we did, okay? So it's working with parents from theory to practice, that's what we call it. And in French, it's called pour, par, et avec. So I will say a little history, the impact, key element of the winning recipe. Sorry. French is my first language, English is my second language. In French, when I speak, it's a oh. So if I go too fast in English, because I have the same beat, raise your hand, I will slow down. So, just in case. And if you don't hear me, I think you're fine. I have a good voice. I used to work with arts, performing theater. Okay, so partenaires exists since 1940. Not as the same structure we have now, but it was starting with small group in Ottawa region and evolved with many different schools across the province. This morning, the gentleman, Mr. Sear, was talking about, French issue, about different things. And I will just go a tiny bit about French issue here, so you have an idea why it's kind of a touchy subject. French and English in Canada was allowed at the beginning of the country, when it was Hopper in over Canada, and then, kind of lose something because you lose number. So in Ontario, in 1912, the French was no longer taught in school, in elementary school. It was not taught in the high school. So you're in French family, you go to school, but your education will be in English. So it's kind of, I think I missed something here. I think somebody took my rights away. That's how we did feel at the time. Then in the same year, because parents were really upset, and students were, hey, I'm French, I would like to learn French. So people were, having how do you call that? Not a riot, but that's the big word. But they were trying to get back. Demonstration. Yes, thank you. That was a cute one. I don't get there, but they were with pin. But anyhow, so the government said, okay, if you do a revolution, you revolt, you don't agree, we have a revolution, you can be treated to retaliation. So that's cute. So in 1927, the French language remained legal status, so it was allowed again to be taught in French in school. And between 1978 and 1980, the French Ontarian people, they fight to have a French school in high school, because they were allowed to have elementary school, but then when you graduate to high school, you have to go to English. So that's why every French people in Ontario speak English. And in 1997, Ontario passed the Bill 104, allowing French schools to be self-managed. So that's, since that time, we have 12 school boards, 8 Catholic and 4 public, because public is less popular, because French school at the time was like Catholic school. So if you look at the map of Ontario, everywhere where they have 2 Catholic school boards, there was a public one for the same mapping. So the things have changed. We no longer fight for our school, to manage our school. We fight for other things. And parents partenaires was fighting, of course, to have rights to have the school. So we decided, okay, now we have the school, what else do we do? And we thought, okay, we'll try to manage to develop tools to make parents more aware of the system, and so they will be understanding, like when you have a new curriculum and those kind of things. So that's where we did go. So we have a conversation. I'm not sure if I did skip one thing. Yep. So when we talk about developing school, we decide we'll do what we call a conversation program. So conversation is like what we do, like this morning, we're a group of people, we talk about the subject, and then we have a smaller discussion group. We take a topic and we talk about something. So the program is based on the recognition of the ability for parents of sharing their experience, knowledge, and idea. So it's not like from top down, it's like all together, we look at what we can do, and on the topic we discuss and say, okay, you have that expertise, you have that knowledge, that person about their experience, so we share those things to build. And the idea as well is to build a community. So the programs narrow on the opportunity that parents have to learn together, lean on each other, support each other as parents, all while continuing to help the kids going through the system. Okay. I have my helper just in case I need something. Conversation, the way we built it, was a need that was reported to us from parents. We started in 2011. During we have open forum, congress, AGM, we do presentation in school, and we do presentation at PICS. And so people say, okay, but when we're in a school council, the director decide, the principal decide what's the agenda. And the school council reply to the principal, and the PIC is the connection with the school board. But then sometimes parents need to have their own space to discuss their own topic and bring what they want, not just being taught what they're supposed to think. So we say, okay, that's fine, we'll try to do something like that. So in 2011, people at the office were asked to go to school to do animation, to do conversation. And darn, Ontario is quite big. So 12 school board, about 427 schools. Not that we go in every school, we can make it, but we decide, okay, we have to do something else to be able to have more of those conversation program project, space for parents. So, and we decide to do, okay, we have to build leaders in the community. So we say, okay, so what we did, we thought, okay, we have to do something like, it's kind of trainer for trainees, that thing. So we need people that will come to a school, and it's not the teacher or the principal, but it will be the parents who have respect and are willing to take a role on, do the animation. So we asked, we asked funding to start that project. And the goal was to train parents to become conversation leaders, fostering positive and in a positive and respectful dialogue. So it's not, when we hold those conversations, it's not like to bitch about something, but if we have a problem, it's like how we try to resolve that problem. So yeah, it's not bitching session. So, and we have to be sure that that's something that everybody understands, because as you know, when you go to school, principals are a bit aware of what you will say and how you will say that, and don't make a fuss here. So we say, okay, yes.
So when you're doing the training and you're training the trainers, are you doing some kind of facilitation training then?
Yep.
Okay.
I will get to that.
Okay.
So between December 2012 and March 2015, we had 6 training sessions that we did offer to parents. And so that means parents come to us on Friday night. We start at 6 and we finish Sunday at noon. So that's a lot of hours. And people are traveling from Thunder Bay, from anywhere in the province of Ontario. Most of our training was here in Toronto, and we did that one in Sudbury. So that's volunteering. So those parents take time away from home, away from their kids, to come to a session that they don't know what will happen to them. So they come by fate. That's pretty good. So far, with that project, we had 82 parents that were trained. The 51 are women, 31 are men. So, and in one of our sessions, we have more men than women. And that was interesting than we said we had about the same half and half thing. That was nice. And 45 of those people were newcomers to the country. So that was pretty interesting. So I do believe on the French side, for my organization, we have a nice connection with the newcomers that are in the school. They really participate in our project. All the school board have been involved. I've sent parents to be trained. So here we have the numbers. Those are the school board. Viamont is a public. CSCS is here in Toronto area. It's Catholic. Providence, it's kind of a Windsor up. That's Catholic. Then in Ottawa region, you have the CCE, the Catholic. PO is public, and EO is Catholic. That's Eastern Ontario going to Quebec. Then we have Aurore Boreal, that's Thunder Bay. FN, it's North Bay area. NO, it's further north. That's Catholic. And the CSCNO, that's public, and Grande Rivière is Catholic. PGNO is public, and CSP that's public. So we have about the same kind of numbers. And those parents, like newcomers are mostly from the southern area, I would say. I don't have that much in the north. I have one, because they don't go north so far. It's too cold, actually. So when we start in 1911, not 19, wow, I have to change my siècle. Okay, in 2011, we had 8 subjects, 8 topics we're discussing. Since then, we're up to 15 topics. And those topics come with the new curriculum about physical education and mental, I don't know what's the English word, but the sexual component, that was a topic. So we use that one. Okay, parents later have access to a training support kit to help them during these sessions. After that, they come for the training and they go back with a nice cartable. Binder. And USB key with all the topic. And they have a hotline for us, so they call us when they need. And the way it worked on the website, and too bad I wasn't able to do the website because it's done most of the time recently, technology. But on the website, you have something called Conversation. And people click there, and they have a kind of a request form that they say, I would like a conversation on the topic, and they give us the school, the area, phone number, contact, and we ask them, okay, give us 3 dates and give us 3 weeks warning, because it can just fly the next day. So when we receive a request for a conversation, to hold a conversation in the school or even in the community center, what we do, we receive that and we check in let's say 40 kilometers around that place, who are my parents' leader that will send them a request and say, who are you is available for that topic and that night. Because some topic is not everybody. You're trained, but sometimes you don't want to talk about something. And that's okay, we respect those things. So we ask who's available and who's willing to be the leader of that conversation on that specific evening, or sometimes those happen on weekends. Maybe Saturday morning, or it can be a Sunday morning. It goes with, what's needed on the ground. Okay, so, and because we received that special request, we take care of what we call the logistics. So we make sure we have the room, we have the setup, everything, and we're in contact with the school, and then the school is in contact with that person that will be leading the conversation. So we keep that logic on. So far we have 86 conversations. And as I said, it was in school, at PIC's meeting, with community partner, Proforem, and during our annual AGM congress, like People for Education that day today. We have the same kind of smaller thing in French as well. And most of our conversation, a lot of them were in urban area instead than in rural area. So far, we were in contact with about 1,700 parents did come to those special conversation evening session. And of these 82 people, parents that were trained, 55 of them had lead conversation. Some other ones were people from the office or special partners that we have that are specific in the subject. The most popular team, it's exogamy, well, how many of you know what is exogamy? Yeah, I thought so, yeah. Exogamy, that's kind of a funny thing. It's a French thing, right? Exogamy is when you have one parent that speaks French and the other parent speaks another language. It can be English or Arabic or anything else. So that's meaning, how do you send your kids to French school when you just have one parent that speaks French? And sometimes you say, well, I can't do the homework with my kids because I don't understand French. And that kids go to a French school, damn it, I don't want it. I want my kids to be able to speak English with my parents and blah, blah. But as we're talking this week, I was at other meetings, we should have, when you go outside of Quebec or when people come to Canada, a postcard or a big flags thing saying, don't worry, you will learn English and speak English within a few months of being exposed to English. That's how it works. It's like a
Immersion.
yeah, a flu. It's like the flu. You get it like that. Yeah, it's like the flu. You get it. No, like if you go to Spain, you spend a year in Spain. If you don't get it a bit, you're really. You have a problem. It doesn't expand over here. Okay, so exogamy is a hot topic. And the French culture awareness, in French it's called construction identitaire. Because when you go to French school, it's not just a skill as a language. You learn about, what is French, what's the culture, what's, who's the popular artist, what makes you French? Like in English Canada or in English school, where you have the same problem with the thing, because everything is come from the state. And you say, okay, what's the English Canadian culture? Who's the artists, who's the writers, who's the performers? So in French school, that is a component that that we bring up because, of course their kids listen to English radio and they know all the pop singer in English. But they have to know who's a good singer in French as well and who's the writer. Not always read something that is translated. So that's why they have something that called it French cultural awareness. Then another topic is, of course, academic achievement, bullying, communication between school and parents, between parents and children, growing up teens, sometimes might be difficult. And sometimes even communication with my newcomer. Like how do I integrate foreign people in our neighborhood, in our community environment? Learning disabilities, and for that topic, we are a partner with other groups that are more knowledgeable than I am. And then cultural diversity, that's the newcomers, and even cultural diversity is like within Canada, you have even in, let's say, English Canada, when you go from Newfoundland, Labrador, and you go to the Pacific Coast, Vancouver, everybody speaks kind of English, but they have all the different environmental components, they have a different accents, so, cultural something is a bit different. So same thing in French, like the cultural diversity, even if you're French, not the same French as the other French. Because some are from Belgium ancestors, some are from Quebec, some are from France, some are from Switzerland, and some are from, let's say, the North Africa or Southern Africa. So it's quite vast. And newcomers, mental health stability. Well, you put here stability because we have the mental health thing, but it's just not like it's more than just that. It's like feeling okay, with what you are. So those are the popular things. So why it's kind of a winning recipe so far? It's because we have the commitment from our parent base, from our parents leader, those who do the conversation. We have, okay, oh, sorry.
Sorry to hold you up there. I just wonder what sorts of things were talked about under the mental health stability piece.
Yeah, we put stability, but that's just a framing for us to talk about it. It's not stability as, you put it here because we say santé mentale, équilibre in French, is because when we talk about santé mentale, the mental health, people say, oh, crazy people. But no, because now the mental health has evolved. So the well-being, it's called in English, in fact, well-being. The translation might be a bit rocky. But yeah, but depending where you're from, and what we used to know as mental health was something that we don't talk about. Mental health was something that crazy people is mental health. But now, in those days, mental health, it's like your kid is feeling okay, is feeling accept, and you're, it's not like you're crazy. So the mental health here, that's why we say équilibre, it's like, okay, you have to be able to talk with your child about, like different issues. And is he feeling secure, is he feeling welcome, and as well as parents. Sometimes you're under stress, so when you're under stress, you have different reaction. So how to deal with those kind of things, how to be able to cope and to learn skill about helping your children to relax and, okay, stop worrying about your test tomorrow. Kids need to hear those kind of things. So sometimes parents or the system put too much pressure on their shoulder. So that's why we talk about stability here.
I think it's all connected there with bullying, learning disabilities.
Yeah, but sometimes you
safe
don't have to be
environment
bullying
schools.
but sometimes you don't have to be bullying to feel, like growing up, it's a pain thing. So when you're a teen, it's really hard because you really don't know the issue of growing up. So you feel, sometimes you will feel treated.
Sylvie, I was wondering if it would help. So do the groups that reach out to Pideo to have a conversation, do they choose from selected topics?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We'll go to my topic. Those are the most popular we talk about. Okay, we have collaboration with PIC and the school council. Okay, I will check if I have all the list of. No, all the topics are not there. Sorry, there's 18 topics. So it goes, I say those are the most popular. So yeah, so people take a topic from the roll down menu, and that's what we will be talking with them.
Thank you.
No, I'm not sure if it will help, but.
Sorry, if this is a parent-driven initiative, then
Yes.
are parents allowed to propose their own topics?
Yes, that's why we're up to 15. We start with 8, and then we,
So these are parent-suggested topics?
yes,
Oh,
on our.
So they're
on-
not given by the board, like you're allowed to talk about these things?
Yeah, partenaires en éducation is it's not arm attached or something, like this
Yeah.
school system with everything and more
You're
on the
independent.
side.
You're independent.
Oh, yes. So sometimes they don't like what we say, but hey, who cares? So far it's okay. We don't always, well, most of the time we share the same idea, but we don't have the same way to introduce it with the parents. So at some point, some parents will say, okay, we'd like to talk about, well, let's say, we'd like to talk about the way the teacher, the program, the formation.
Training.
Teacher training?
No, the school, okay, when teacher go to school 2 years to do their.
Teacher education.
Oh, you got that training, okay, fine. Yes, so is there a component in those things about, like awareness to French culture? Is there a component in those school thing when they learn, is there a component about, how to welcome parents in school? So those are the kind of topic we talk. And then in French, we have another problem or kind of problem, the quality of teaching. The quality of the language, because if everybody have a different accent. So with that, let's say if you go to New Brunswick, they have a really special accent. So if you come from France and you go there, you're really lost. And you say, I don't want my kids to speak that way, because it's kind of so awkward. But when you're in Canada and you go to Scotland or Ireland or Britain, you say, oh, I want my kids to speak like that. It's so awesome. I'm not quite sure. So we have, we have those border, or we're not that open. So I might say that. But when you go to
The
France,
bottom line is, sorry to interrupt, the bottom line is that parents can suggest topics that are then taken forward.
oh
in
yes,
conversations.
yes.
It
Okay.
sounds to me like it's a platform for just sharing those perspectives
We
and
can
that
talk-
positive discourse
Yeah.
so that every perspective
Exactly.
is viewed,
So-
is that you're aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, so it's not driven by the principal or teacher association or the school council or, not school, school board, yeah. So no, it's come from the parents, the topic that they want to talk about, and they were aware of something, and I thought I'd put the 15 list, but I can go to the web. Anyhow, okay, so that thing, the idea of the conversation was to really have, well, and another thing too, it's like to have a networking of parents. In a rural area, most of the people know each other, so that's an easy one. But when you get to bigger cities, a lot of parents don't know any other parents because your kids take the bus, or you drive your kids, you drop your kids at school, and that's it, So kids know each other, but you don't have that support system for parents. So when you do those kind of conversations in school, that's mean, parents are coming all together and say, I will just finish that sentence, and they say, oh, you're the parents of the friends of my son, blah, blah, blah. So you start to connect. So, and you have what you call about citizenship school, where parents are feeling part of a school, feeling part of a community, and they will be more willing to get involved in the school project or any topic of the school. Yes.
I'm just wondering about the process of the training and then developing the list and then offering that list and responding to new suggestions. I gather the parents are trained in general facilitation, and then the resources are developed, and then the list is developed. And then if a new suggestion is made, it's not that a facilitator is brought in to a spontaneous discussion for that topic. If there's a process that happens in advance of that, like the materials are developed, the facilitator learns that specific topic.
Okay, the thing is with the program, it's not like the facilitator is a trained person with answer. The facilitator is there to be able to bring people together and make sure that everybody had a chance to talk about something. So, and what we do, when we have the conversation, we have a report at the end of the conversation. So we have a flip chart and we write everything that's happening, blah, 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 and then we have the report. And on that report, sometimes you may have something that you want to follow up on. So let's say you're talking about mental health. And parents say, okay, we're concerned this week because there were an issue about something in the school, and how do we get the skill to answer to kids, like somebody like a suicide, So okay, there's of course there's people coming from the health unit helping, but still, parents have to be aware of it as well, and how do you deal with that? So those kind of topic, you will talk about it, but if parents need something else in the school after the conversation, they have on the report, they say, we need somebody to come here and do a presentation to all the parents, so parents have a better idea, and that doesn't have to be from somebody who's well-respected or trained in that field. So that's a request that will go to the principal, will go to the school council to have that thing. Sometimes there's no next step, so it's okay.
So if a parent group approached, went to the resources and their topic wasn't on the drop-down menu, it can still happen?
Yeah, they will when they will adopt that special thing. Like last year, one of the topic was yes or no home school. No.
Homework?
Homework, yeah. After school, they have homework. Yeah, yes or no for homework, from school. So we have the conversation. Don't say okay, yes or no. So I asked my parents, who's willing to do that? How do you work with that? And so the school did send us, what they have in idea and what they try to achieve. So what we did, we divide the group in two. And so we say, okay, you guys will work with, yes, we need homework. And you guys will work, no homework. Doesn't matter what you think, I don't care. That was for the joke. But, so even if you think you like homework, but you're in a group that you have to do an argument against it. So that's how you did the work. So, and then at the end of the session, they discuss both way, and because there's always pro and con. So it's not just black and white. So, and then why you have homework and because of what, and so those kind of topics was, bring up. It's not one that is that popular yet. So we didn't put, like when we go on a website and we have those topics, there's a list of information and all the resources that are related to that topic. And They have, we take quote from different conversation on that topic, put it there, so people have an idea of, how it works and why it's made this way. The outcome. Okay, so when we do those things, it's bringing up the ability and experience that parents pose as first educator, because we say the parent is the first educator, and the involvement of parent, school, council, committee, and the PIC. So when parents are more involved with something in the school, so they will be, when they come to those conversations, they have a feeling that they can do something and they are empowered. So they will be more willing to participate in other kind of committees for the school or be more involved. Yes?
Sorry, I might be getting ahead of your presentation, but is the goal of the creating conversations exercise, is it simply to get parents more involved with the school, or is it to create recommendations around the topic being discussed and presenting those recommendations to someone who will be able to implement them?
Depending on the topic, yes. As I say, sometime at the end of the conversation, there's a recommendation. So when there's a recommendation, we'll work on that.
And those recommendations are accepted and adopted?
Well, it depends on the school, of course, it depends what is the recommendation.
It
So-
just seems to me, and pardon me for being direct, it seems a little futile to bring parents together to talk about a topic that goes nowhere, where parents are attached to it, engaged, and the outcome of the session are a number of recommendations that fall flat.
Well, when there's recommendation, it doesn't fall flat. So there's a follow-up.
There is?
Yes. Yeah, there's a
Okay.
follow-up with the school, and sometimes it goes to the school board, or it goes to the PIC, things are bringing up. The idea, the first level of that conversation is to bring parents together to be able to talk about a topic that they are,
Passionate about it.
yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not because they want to change something, it's because sometimes they just want to be, talk about it, but to get information on the topic. Sometimes they need information, they need to know, okay, what's going on, why, and sometimes if you want to bring a new rule, I'm not sure the rule is the right word, in the school, perhaps you better go through conversation thing than just send a paper to the parents, say, oh, by the way, now we do this and this and that, and then parents say, why it happened, and, so that's the idea to have the leap of, yes.
So I understand that in coming to this conversation builder that you're
Oh,
having,
training, yeah.
that people are actually learning how to develop the skills of having conversations about emotional topics.
Yes, yeah, so, we'll just go to the next one, just in case. Oh, that's the next one. Yeah, no, yeah, it's not, okay, sorry. Yes, so, okay, the training session that we do with the parents, like what they learn is the skill to, manage a conversation, like you give the chance to everybody to participate in their way of thinking. So they learn how to manage situation, well, let's say like they come and there are 55 people in a room. So 55 people, it's really hard to do a conversation. And conversation is about an hour and a half. Sometimes it might go to 2 hours, but usually it's within an hour and a half, 95 minutes. So you have to know how to work with a group, a larger group. How do you do that? So depending on the topic, you will divide people in smaller round table, and everybody will work on something, and we bring the group back together, and we say, okay, we discuss this and that, and we have those resolution or those facilitation or way of doing something. How do you solve something? Sometimes it's not solving problems. Sometimes it's just to be more comfortable with a new topic, more comfortable about bringing something home, or when we talk about intimidation or bullying, some parent, there's some specific thing. You can bring, let's say, a policier, an officer, right? Police officer, okay. And they will be talking about something with the law. How do you work with that? But how do you, at home, do something? You can just be, okay, you just go in the corner. Yeah, well, it doesn't work no more, So parents have to develop the skill of the new time and be able to try to talk more with the kids, and have to listen. And sometimes, even if the kids don't seem to listen, we have to remember that they're not deaf, except if they are really, but yeah. So you have to keep talking to them. So at some point you go here and stay there. And at some point, you know, when they get 18, you think, oh my God, yes, it happened. It didn't work. Yes, I'm sorry, you had a question.
I'm just thinking that the value in those meetings
Yeah.
is, you know, in some part is sharing those best practices. So,
Yes.
you know, information or tools or, you know, support doesn't always come from administration, right?
Yes.
And the, you know, some of the value is in just sharing those best practices with parents.
Yes.
And I think another opportunity is so that you recognize whether you have consensus in a community.
Yes.
Is this a topic? Is this something we then need to take to the next level? Yes.
That's
So,
true.
I mean, in a room of 75 people, if you can build consensus on a topic, you've definitely got,
Oh, yeah.
you know, an issue that is worthy of, you know, taking it to the next level for policy.
And the idea is, yeah, sharing best practice and, you know, I think parents recognize that they know a
Yes,
lot.
right.
They know a lot, and then perhaps the next step is just, where do I go to get another information? Where do I go to get support on a special something?
Validation.
Yeah, and because sometimes when you're on your own somewhere, you think, holy shit, you know,
Mhm.
what do I do with that? Is it somebody else that had the same experience? My kid is blah, blah. You know, so when you have other parents say, oh, you know, I've been there, and, okay, so, you know, but as I say, you know, in urban area, there's more of those conversation things, because I think parents feel that the need to talk to someone,
Yeah.
because they're on their own most of the time, because of the working hours, and the school is not in the same area, and, you know, so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
Can I just
Oh,
ask,
sorry.
we're almost at the end, and
Really?
so if you have a clarification question, maybe focus on those, and then hold on to your more debate, comment, questions for the next part, which will be great.
Mine would be the next.
The next part.
Next
Thank
one.
you.
Okay, the
Thank you.
next one, yes. Oh, yes?
Just a process question. So you mentioned for building your modules and doing your training that you went to the French language instruction division and the parents reaching out grants
Yes.
is what I'm assuming you used. Do you have ongoing funding, or is this now on a volunteer basis only? So if I was to call and I have a French language board and I want a facilitator to come out, are you reimbursing the costs for the person to come out and facilitate that conversation, or is it purely on a volunteer capacity?
It's a volunteer capacity, but what we did, well, I did so far,
Yeah.
still have a bit of money left from other projects. I keep that in my yearly budget to have a bit money, like if somebody have to travel, 40 kilometers and need a meal on his way, I ask them, please, just send your kilometers and your receipt for the meals. Because like when they doing the conversation, yes, that's a volunteer hours. And so when they sign, because when we first did the, we opened the invitation, say, who are you as parents, on the network think, that would be willing to be trained as a parent facilitator for a conversation, and why are you from, your kids are in what grade, and why you think you will be a good parents facilitator, and why do you want to be engaged, volunteering for those, and then you have to volunteer to do at least managing two conversations. And so people were, writing down and filling up that application thing, because, it's a little bit, oh, I think I'd like to go to Toronto for the weekend. It doesn't work. Out. Yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering about how you communicate what the meeting's gonna be about to parents.
Ah.
If it goes through the person that's organizing it, or if you do it directly, and how to manage the parents' expectations, kind of like to what your point is, what am I gonna get out of it? Like,
Yeah.
because there is a range, I'm sure
Yes.
parents are coming with different
Yeah.
expectations.
Okay, so what happened when somebody asks a conversation, let's say they will ask something about newcomers, okay? So they decide on a topic, then decide to talk to each other, like the school, the school council or the school principal will be in touch with our office. So we decide, okay, you want to talk about this because of, okay, so then we'll frame a title for the evening and having more information about the event. You're coming to this conversation for blah, 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 and learning, I don't know. We wrote something, then there's the time, the date, where in the school, what local, what room, and if they're babysitting service, it will be, it's all decided. So what we do a kind of an invitation card. The school print it, They send it to the, with the kids in the, backpack, thank you. And they do it in their voice, and most of the time the school will put it on the website. So parents that attend that school will receive that invitation. And sometimes some school, they will ask parents to register because they offer a babysitting service, and so the school, because there's in the program, there's another thing that when you want a conversation, you want it, then you kind of sign a kind of a tiny contract saying, okay, you will provide a room, provide a website access or computer screen, depending what is the conversation, and you will provide a collation, a snack, or something to drink, a tiny bite of something, and depending on the hours, sometimes people will provide like a feast, and sometimes it's just like a piece of cake and a bottle of water. And so there's a obligation from the school, from those who ask for the conversation, and the way the information is passed.
Have you done it also, Sylvie, in sort of outside the school context, in the community?
Yeah, usually it would be a partner, like with the French Association of Ontario. We had one workshop about misogyny at one of their annual congress. So we come and we do the animation, and they provide the rest of the thing. So when somebody is asked, like my parents are trained, they don't have to do everything. But what they have to do, that one, they have to show up in time, of course, 15 minutes before, and they have to do the report. And the report, like when you use all the information on the flip chart, they do a report on what was the topic, how many people attend, what was most of the information that was request from the parents. Is there a next step? Do we have to send something, do a different research? What else do they need? And what's the big lineup of something? Sometimes they will be able to point out the best practice in the field. And we use those one and we add that to our resource. And those parents will still connect, and we send them a report of that evening by email. So they provide their email address. And so they receive that report, and the principal receive the report. If they want to share it with the PIC or with the council or school board, they decide what they want to do after that. It's kind of public knowledge. In the report, of course, they don't have names, so it's not like somebody was there, that parents blah blah said something blah blah. There's no name, so it's all confidential.
To bring someone in to train parents for an entire weekend, that costs more than the program.
No, I'm a cheap person, she won't believe it.
Okay, well, in my experience as a facilitator, it would cost more for me to come for the weekend than the program offers. Did you tap into other funding, or was it just $1,000 from the program?
No, well, when you are regional
Project program.
Oh,
that's something different. We go up to 20,000.
30.
Yeah,
30.
up to 30.
Oh,
Well,
there you
no,
go.
they do 30 no more. It used to be a 30, but now
No,
it's
it's pretty much
the most
capping it.
the most that was allowed this year is 22,000.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was the regional program.
Yes, it's
Okay.
because no, I can't make it local. It's
Yeah, no.
yeah. But with the regional program, like let's say it was 22,000 perhaps at one time, I was able to do 2, even perhaps 3 sessions. So, we don't do camping, but it's pretty close to that. No, we have facilitation, like washroom, bedroom, everything. Yeah. So, but yeah, people share rooms, and that person that was training, like, is a person that always work in communities, and she was working with ACDI, she worked abroad.
Aboriginal.
And she's really, and the person we choose to do those stations though is the person that have a lot of sensitivity with newcomers, different countries. So you have to be, you don't have to be what you call a redneck, so that doesn't work. so you have to be sensitive to all those issues. So
Clarifying.
Yeah.
It was the regional program.
yes, it's a regional program. Yeah.
2 questions. One, do you have a website? where you
Yes,
have all
and
this-
I'm not sure if it's working because it was down the other day. So, and I'm a bit of really bad with my.
Should I write it on
Or
the
just
board?
write it, yeah. I
Oh,
guess you
yeah,
could
sorry,
just write
thank
the-
you.
Write the link down. And is this only, my other question was, is this only for French parents or is it English as well?
And you know what? No, at this moment we do that only in French because that's our, oh boy, it's a mission. But they asked me to share that with you. Ah, doesn't work. Okay.
.ca.
Yeah. No, we just do that in French. We don't have that much money to do it in. But people for education ask me, because we're working on different projects together, say, Sylvie, that's a good idea. So that's mean, you know, if on the English side you want to do something like that, that's mean you have to work regionally speaking and to have the money and, you know, work the project. Yeah. So, but, you know, another thing too though, yes, we're working, like, I just offer that in French school. But my parents are trained, they're trained in, you know, they train in French, but most of them are bilingual. So, and when we go to French schools, even if it's a French school, sometime we might switch half of it in English to, you know, because even in French school, you know, so every parents will speak French, some parents don't speak French, but the kids go to French school, and the parents that doesn't speak French sometimes is the only one that will be able to attend, you know, the topic. So that,